2 questions.
Yes.
First is to Andrew. What didn't you like about Fantastic Children?
What didn't I like about Fantastic Children? I think it was just the art style wasn't my thing. I mean, like, I've had this conversation with other people. The plot itself, I have no issue with. It's just that the animation style really wasn't my kind of thing. I mean, I'm used to slow dice. I love things like Kino's Journey, that kind of thing. Sorry, Naruto as well and such, but for some reason, it just didn't gel with me. Like, my colleagues in the office loved it. So I was like, oh, okay, it must be okay then. But like, for some reason it just didn't click with me. Whereas Panda Z clicked with me perfectly, and everyone else is like, it's weird pandas eating batteries. I know, it's great! So in the office our opinions differ quite often. It's sort of an interesting 50-50 split in the room normally on titles. Fantastic Children, I just kind of fell on the other side of it.
And the other part then is, why do you think it's so hard for anime to translate into a live-action movie? Avatar is awful, Dragon Ball Z is awful.
You mean Katara and such? Oh no. Well, live-action stuff, I mean, stuff like the Dragon Ball movie and Blood movie, for example. I mean, I actually respect Akira Toriyama's view on it. I mean, you could so tell that he had taken the professional view of they're giving me a nice royalty check for this. And so therefore he took his distance from it and said, it's a retelling, which is a polite way of saying, they've massacred my baby, thrown it out the window and fed it to dingoes, but they've given me a big check for it. So, jolly good. The trouble is, though, Dragon Ball and such was set across, you know, like a lengthy period of time in episodes. So the best way to do it is to do something like Blood did, which is go, well, let's do something in the same universe with the same characters, but let's not retell the story. And like, it didn't work out especially well, but it didn't work out terribly either. And hopefully if they do a Cowboy Bebop live action, like in its defense there though, like people groan about it, but, and I do groan as well about the idea of Keanu Reeves being heavily involved, but what sold the project there was his dedication and enthusiasm for that project. So, I guess the best example would be if they did what anime series do when they make a good movie, which is take the universe and do a standalone thing, which Cowboy Bebop does, and Trigun Badlands Rumble does, which you'll be able to see if you come to Scotland in October. Plug.
What's both of your opinions on Zac Efron getting cast as Light Yasmin for the American live-action Death Note?
Sorry, what's our opinion?
Zac Efron being cast as Light Yasmin for the American remake of the live-action Death Note movie.
Has he? Yeah. I thought that was just a rumour that he'd been cast as Light. Zac Efron being cast as Light in Death Note. This is a shock twist to me, as I'm normally the first one to rail on people like this, but Zac Efron's actually not that bad an actor outside of...
He'll start singing about trying to start...
Have you guys seen any of the roles he's been in which are not High School Musical?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen Orson Welles and Me, for example?
I work at a cinema.
Yeah, I mean, he's really not. He's not a bad actor. He's only going to get better.
He did get stuck in roles initially that were very much that, but he might grow out into his own right. I mean, I'm hopeful having seen Orson Welles, but he might be a decent actor, enough actor to handle something like Light. To be honest, I find him an infinitely better prospect as a character than Keanu Reeves. Imagine Keanu Reeves as Light. Have any of you guys seen the meme on the internet of just Keanu Reeves' picture being posted? He's been having a sandwich and he looks a bit... Some paparazzi has obviously caught a snap of him when he's having a bad day. Actually, just looks really down when he's eating a sandwich. And people just been photoshopping him into endless images. There's one of Death Note as well where he's positioned one table behind Light in the school.
Well, I mean, you know, when you've got a film catalog such as Point Break, I mean, really, yeah. God help us. I want you to teach me to surf. America, he's regarded as one of the critics just love him. He's like one of the finest film actors ever. Where do you get your drugs, man? That was awful. I just real quick, get to your question in a second. I think one of the things that I don't like about live, kind of going back to your thing, live action from anime is that I think of anime, and I'm sure you all do too, it's an art form. It's its own thing. And why are you, I think it's a little pompous, quite honestly, to go, we're going to turn it into live action. Because what I think they're trying to do is make it more mass appealing to the more masses. And they take it away from the fans. Go, we're going to make this movie and you're going to love it. Hey, look at Speed Racer. You know, it's a piece of garbage. You just can't beat the anime. I mean, it's just, that's what it is. It's an anime, you know. So I'm not a big fan of that at all. I think we just, you know, for God's sakes, come up with something original. They did. You know? The Japanese did. Come up with something original. So that's just my but yeah.
To my knowledge, in both cases, the licenses have been put on the back burner now. But hypothetically, though, again, he's another one who I feels, ever since his balls dropped, I guess, he's become, like, Inception, for example, sold me on him as an actor again. Like, I've watched Inception twice already, and I probably will give it another cinema watch before it drops off the map. That's maybe because I have a Cineworld card in Scotland, so it means I can go to see stuff. The more I see stuff, the more the card's worthwhile having, to be honest. But I don't know. Like it's in the same vein, but like as John just pointed out, I think I completely agree with him. You know, if it was meant to have been a live action originally, it would have been filmed live action originally. I mean, stuff like the 20th Century Boys, for example, they took a source manga and created a live action that worked incredibly well. I mean, that's fine. If it had been better as an anime, they would have made it as an anime first off, or someone would have gone, why haven't I made 20th Century Boys the anime yet? Instead, they clearly thought live action was a better medium for it. And, you know, it's like, I liked it anyway, I don't know about anyone else. Although, like, in the current culture, you could argue that Hollywood's as bad for remaking stuff. Adapting like Asian horror films into Western horror films just now, for example.
Well, like I said, they don't always have originality. They're just thinking dollar signs. As long as it can bring in more money than it costs, you'll do it. And yeah, right there.
In Soul Eater, excluding Lord Death, which is your favorite character?
Excluding Lord Death?
Maka.
Yeah, I'll go with Maka. Yeah. Sure, why not? Yeah, Maka maybe. Frankly, they're not even close to Lord Death. Yeah.
Do you have any characters that you'd like to see the voice of?
Are there any characters I'd like to do the voice that I haven't done? All of them. No, you know, that's an interesting question because, oops, sorry. You know, when you are an actor, and whether it's film, live action, I mean, we were, you know, acting on screen or doing voiceover, you get, after a while, you get sort of pigeonholed in a range. You know what your range is. And, you know, I would have loved to have done Ed, but I don't think I have the right voice for it. I mean, Vic's got a great voice for that. So I don't, you know, it's not that I wouldn't want to have tried it, but I just don't think I would have fit. So I try to stick with roles, at least audition for them. Like, for instance, I'll get, you know, Funimation, let's say a director will send me a script, and it's got 15 characters. 9 of them, or 8 of them are girls, and 7 of them are men, but 3 of the men are boys, and 4 of the men are somewhere that I feel are in my range. Well, those are the only ones I'll audition for. Now, I could audition for all of them, but they probably won't take it seriously. They may not even listen to it. You know, if they said, well, you know, you're not right for this character, I'm not even going to bother to waste my time listening to it. So I just try to stay in my range and you know, hopefully land something. You know, that's the main thing. Is getting the role that you know, at least something out of it. So, and sometimes you don't. You know, you think you're the perfect role for it, and you're just not. There's other contributing factors. Scheduling issues. It's, you know, more difficult to schedule somebody out of town than it is somebody that lives in Dallas. That, hey, can you come over tomorrow? Sure, I'll be there. You know. Whereas me, they have to book me. They try to book me maybe a week or 2 out. You know, in fact, they called me. You know, hey, can you come in? I said, well, I'll be in Ireland, so I can't. So they had, we'll probably do something in the week or 2 after I get back. But yeah, it's, you know. Anyone? Yes.
As a kid.